Imagine this: the power's out, store shelves are empty, and help is nowhere in sight. In moments like these, what you have on hand could mean the difference between comfort and chaos, or even life and death. Most people think survival is about weapons or brute strength, but the real secret is much simpler and far more vital. This video is your essential guide to the 5 most critical items you absolutely need before disaster strikes. Let's start with water. During Hurricane Katrina, over 80% of New Orleans was flooded, and thousands of people were stranded without access to safe drinking water. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that after most natural disasters, waterborne illnesses become a leading threat, not violence. That's why experts recommend storing at least 1 gallon of water per person, per day, for at least 3 days. Don't forget pets, they need water too. Consider investing in water purification tablets or a portable water filter so you can make questionable water sources safe to drink if your supply runs out. Food shortages are just as real. In 2021, a winter storm in Texas left millions without power, and grocery store shelves emptied in hours. People who had even a few days' worth of non-perishable food and bottled water were far better off than those who didn't. Stock up on canned goods, vacuum-sealed meals, and high-calorie snacks like peanut butter or granola bars. Rotate your food supply every 6 months to keep it fresh, and make sure you have a manual can opener. Electric ones won't work if the power is out. Warmth is another silent lifesaver. Hypothermia can set in quickly during blackouts or winter storms, especially for the elderly and young children. Simple items like thermal blankets, sleeping bags, or even extra layers of clothing can make the difference between life and death. Keep candles, hand warmers, and a battery-powered heater in your emergency kit, but always use them safely to avoid fire hazards. And don't forget about medicine. According to the World Health Organization, nearly half of disaster-related deaths are due to lack of access to essential medications, like insulin or heart medicine. Keep at least a week's supply of prescription medications on hand, along with a basic first aid kit. If you or a family member relies on medical devices, make sure you have backup batteries or a way to charge them. Preparation is key. Practice emergency drills with your family, and keep a checklist of your survival essentials. Store your supplies in a cool, dry place, and label everything clearly so you can find what you need quickly. So, before you worry about self-defense gadgets, focus on these basics. Stock up on water, food, warmth, and medicine, because these are the real survival essentials that save lives when crisis hits. Stay tuned as we break down each of these 5 must-have items so you can be ready for anything before it's too late. Now that you understand the importance of being prepared, let's dive into the very first essential item you need before any crisis hits: water containers. Access to water is useless if you can't store or transport it safely. Imagine finding a stream or a tap in a crisis, only to realize you have nothing to carry the water in. All your efforts to locate water are wasted if you can't bring it back to your family or keep it clean for later use. Water is heavy, precious, and easily contaminated. Without the right container, you're left vulnerable. In every survival scenario, water containers are the unsung heroes, often overlooked until it's too late. In real-world disasters like Hurricane Katrina or the 2011 Japanese earthquake, people lined up for hours just to fill any vessel they could find. Some resorted to using pots, pans, or even trash bins, often risking contamination. In war zones, water containers become a form of currency, traded and guarded as fiercely as food or medicine. The lesson is clear: without a reliable way to store and transport water, survival becomes a daily struggle. Let's break down the types of water containers you should consider. First, there are collapsible water containers, lightweight, space-saving, and perfect for emergencies or bug-out bags. These can be tucked away until needed, then quickly filled and carried. Then, there are jerry cans, known for their rugged durability and large capacity, ideal for storing several days' worth of water at home or in a vehicle. Sturdy bottles like those made from stainless steel or BPA-free plastic are great for daily use and short trips. Stackable jugs and water bladders maximize storage in tight spaces, making them perfect for apartments or small homes. Hydration bladders are especially useful for hiking or evacuations, allowing you to carry water hands-free. Each type has its place in a well-rounded survival plan. In refugee camps, aid organizations often distribute collapsible containers because they're easy to transport and store before use. In rural areas, people rely on large jugs or barrels to collect rainwater, or haul water from distant sources. Think about your environment and likely scenarios, urban, rural, or on the move, and choose containers that fit your needs. The features of your containers matter just as much as their type. Look for containers with tight sealing lids to prevent leaks and contamination. Spigots or easy pour features help you control the flow and reduce waste. Wide mouth openings make cleaning and refilling easier, while transparent containers let you monitor water levels and cleanliness. In real-life crises, like the Sarajevo siege, people guarded their containers fiercely. Losing one could mean losing your lifeline. The container itself became a symbol of hope and resilience. In some emergencies, people have had to improvise seals with plastic wrap or duct tape, far from ideal, but a reminder of how critical a good lid can be. Always check your containers for cracks, leaks, or worn seals before you need them. Water is heavy, about 8.3 pounds per gallon. Choose containers you can realistically carry, especially if you need to travel on foot. Ergonomic handles, shoulder straps, and manageable sizes make all the difference. Rolling barrels and portable jugs with sturdy grips can help you move larger quantities with less effort, saving precious energy in an emergency. In many disaster zones, people have injured themselves trying to carry too much water at once. Consider your physical limits and those of your family members. For elderly or disabled individuals, wheeled carts or smaller containers may be essential. Practice carrying your containers when they're full. You might be surprised at how challenging it is. Purification is critical, but without containers, clean water is wasted. You can have the best filters or tablets, but if you can't store the purified water, you're back to square one. Always pair your purification plan with reliable storage. In every disaster, those who kept their containers had a better chance of making it through. Survivors never traded away their containers, they were too precious. In some emergencies, people have had to drink directly from streams or puddles because they lacked a way to store clean water. This increases the risk of illness and dehydration. Always have more containers than you think you'll need. Spares can be used for collecting, purifying, and rationing water separately. Storage tips are just as important as the containers themselves. Always label your containers with the date they were filled, and rotate your water supply every 6 months to keep it fresh. Clean your containers regularly with soap and water, and rinse thoroughly to prevent bacterial growth. Store water in a cool, dark place, away from chemicals, or direct sunlight to avoid degradation of the container and the water inside. If you're storing water long-term, use only food-grade containers and avoid those that once held milk or juice, as residues can promote bacterial growth. In hot climates, check your containers more frequently for signs of algae or mold. If you have pets or small children, store containers out of reach to prevent accidental spills or contamination. Don't wait until crisis hits. Water containers will vanish first. When disaster strikes, shelves empty fast. Not just of bottled water, but of anything that can hold it. The best time to prepare is before the panic starts. Think through your daily needs, your evacuation plan, and how you'll refill and clean your containers. Preparation is more than just buying gear, it's about having a system that works for you. In the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, stores ran out of water containers almost overnight. Those who had prepared in advance avoided the chaos and stress. Make a checklist of your water needs for home, work, and travel. Keep a small container in your car or backpack for unexpected emergencies. Real-life scenarios have shown time and again that water storage can make the difference between life and death. In hurricanes, earthquakes, and wars, those with reliable water containers fared far better than those without. Your water container might just be the most important survival tool you own. Don't overlook it. Prepare now, before the shelves are bare, and ensure your family's lifeline is always within reach. Practice using your containers. Fill them, carry them, and clean them regularly. Know where your nearest water sources are, and have a plan for collecting and purifying water if the tap runs dry. In the end, it's not just about having water, it's about having the means to keep it safe, clean, and accessible when you need it most. When the power goes out, your stove is useless. Suddenly, the modern convenience you rely on every day is gone, and you're left in the dark, literally and figuratively, about how you'll prepare your next meal. Most people don't realize just how dependent we are on electricity until it's no longer there. In a blackout, your kitchen becomes a museum of silent appliances, and the simple act of boiling water becomes a real challenge. But the real crisis isn't just about the lack of electricity, it's about the lack of fuel to cook, purify water, and stay warm. Without a reliable source of cooking fuel, even the most well-stocked pantry can become useless. You still need to eat and boil water. Clean water and hot food aren't just comforts, they're essential for health and morale, especially in a crisis. Even if you have a pantry full of food, much of it may be useless without a way to cook it or make water safe to drink. Cooking fuel is the silent backbone of survival, yet it's often the last thing people think to stockpile. In fact, in many disaster scenarios, people have found themselves surrounded by food they couldn't safely eat, simply because they had no way to heat it or purify water. History is full of stories where fuel became the difference between life and death. In Sarajevo during the siege of the 1990s, residents burned anything they could find: furniture, books, even clothing, to cook and stay warm. Fuel became worth its weight in gold. People risked their lives to scavenge for wood or barter for a few sticks of kindling. the value of fuel skyrocketed, and those who had it were suddenly in a much better position to survive. In every major disaster, from hurricanes to wars, the pattern repeats. Fuel is always among the first resources to run out. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, for example, people lined up for hours hoping to get a few gallons of gasoline or propane, and many resorted to cooking over open fires in parks or backyards. Propane, gas canisters, and charcoal disappear fast. In any emergency, these items are among the first to vanish from store shelves. People often overlook cooking fuel until it's too late, and by then the rush is on. If you wait until disaster strikes, you'll be competing with everyone else for the last scraps. The lesson is clear. Don't wait. Secure your fuel supply before the shelves are bare. Consider how quickly these supplies vanished during the Texas winter storm of 2021, when people scrambled for anything that could burn. Without fuel, you're left with cold food and unsafe water. Eating straight from a can might keep you alive, but it won't keep you healthy or comfortable. Worse, without a way to boil water, you risk illness from contaminated sources. The psychological toll of eating cold meals and worrying about water safety can wear you down quickly. In prolonged crises, this can lead to malnutrition, dehydration, and even despair. In some refugee camps, the lack of fuel has led to outbreaks of waterborne diseases, simply because people couldn't boil water. So, what are your options? Let's break down the main types of cooking fuel and their pros and cons. Propane is one of the most popular choices. It's efficient, burns clean, and is easy to store in canisters. A simple camp stove and a few propane bottles can mean the difference between eating and going hungry. These compact tools are easy to store and use, and they can turn a dire situation into a manageable one. Propane stoves are especially useful for families, as they can cook larger meals and heat water quickly. But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. Solid fuel cubes, alcohol stoves, and rocket stoves all have their place. Alcohol stoves are lightweight and the fuel is widely available, but they can be less efficient in cold weather. Solid fuel cubes are compact and easy to light, making them great for emergencies, but they burn quickly and can be smoky. Rocket stoves are highly efficient and can burn twigs or scrap wood, making them ideal for long-term use if you have access to natural fuel sources. Each type of stove and fuel has its own strengths and weaknesses. By having a mix, you're less likely to be caught off guard if one type runs out or isn't practical in your situation. For example, in rural areas after earthquakes, people often rely on wood-burning rocket stoves, while in urban apartments, alcohol stoves or solid fuel cubes are safer and more discreet. Storage is critical. Fuel runs out quickly. Stock up while you can and rotate your supply. Don't let your emergency stash go stale or expire. Make it a habit to check your fuel reserves regularly, using and replacing them as needed so you're always ready. Store fuels in their original containers and label them with purchase dates to keep track of shelf life. For propane and butane, keep canisters in a cool, dry place, away from direct sunlight and heat sources. For solid fuels, keep them in airtight containers to prevent moisture damage. Alcohol should be stored in tightly sealed bottles, away from children and pets. Safety is non-negotiable. Store fuel safely, away from living spaces and sunlight. Proper storage isn't just about convenience, it's about safety. Keep fuels in well-ventilated, cool areas, and always follow manufacturer guidelines to prevent accidents or dangerous fumes. Never store large amounts of fuel indoors, and always keep fire extinguishers nearby. Remember, some fuels like propane canisters can leak if stored improperly, so check for damage or corrosion regularly. If you live in an apartment, consider storing smaller quantities and using fuels with lower volatility, like alcohol or solid fuel cubes. Alternative methods like solar ovens and fire pits can supplement your fuel supply. Solar ovens use the sun's energy and require no fuel at all, but they depend on weather and daylight. Fire pits can burn wood or charcoal, but they produce smoke and may not be safe or discreet in all situations. Still, they're valuable tools to have in your arsenal, especially if you run low on traditional fuels. In sunny climates, a solar oven can cook rice, beans, or even bake bread with zero fuel cost. In rural areas, a well-built fire pit can serve as both a cooking and heating source. For most families, portable stoves and fuel canisters are the safest bet. They're reliable, easy to use, and can be set up almost anywhere. These are the backbone of an emergency cooking plan. But remember, every fuel source has limits. Ration your supply carefully. Plan meals that require less cooking time and use insulated containers to keep food hot longer. In some emergencies, people have used pressure cookers on camp stoves to save fuel and cook beans or rice faster. Don't forget fire-starting tools. Keep manual lighters and waterproof matches handy. Don't rely on electric igniters or fancy gadgets. Simple, reliable fire-starting tools are a must. Pack extras in your emergency kit and make sure everyone knows where to find them. In some survival stories, people were unable to cook, simply because they couldn't start a fire. Consider adding a ferro rod or magnesium fire starter to your kit for redundancy. Fuel isn't just about food, it's about morale and survival, especially in winter. A hot meal or warm drink can lift spirits and provide comfort when everything else feels uncertain. In cold weather, fuel can literally be the difference between life and death. In the 2011 Japanese earthquake, many survivors cited the ability to make hot tea or soup as a key factor in maintaining hope and community. In northern climates, being able to heat a small room with a portable stove can prevent hypothermia. In some emergencies, cooking smells can attract unwanted attention. Be discreet. Learn to cook with minimal smoke and scent, and always be aware of your surroundings. During the Great Depression, families in crowded cities often cooked at odd hours or used smokeless fuels to avoid drawing attention to their food supplies. In modern urban crises, using alcohol stoves or solid fuel cubes indoors with proper ventilation can help you stay under the radar. If you're on the move, compact fuel sources are invaluable. Whether you're evacuating or just need to relocate, lightweight and portable options make it possible to cook wherever you end up. Solid fuel cubes, alcohol stoves, and small canisters fit easily in a backpack and can be lifesavers in a pinch. In wildfire evacuations, many families have relied on these compact stoves to prepare baby formula or heat soup on the road. Always have a backup plan. Redundancy is key. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If one system fails, you'll want another ready to go. Think through different scenarios and make sure you have options. Ration your fuel by planning meals that require less cooking time, and use insulated containers to keep food hot longer. Practice using each type of stove and fuel, so you're not learning under. Now that you've secured the basics, let's move to the next essential item: ammunition. When disaster strikes, the value of ammunition goes far beyond self-defense. In times of crisis, bullets can become the most sought-after currency, sometimes even more valuable than cash itself. When traditional financial systems collapse, paper money and even gold can lose their immediate value, but ammunition remains practical and universally desired. Throughout history, ammunition has been traded for life-saving essentials. During the Sarajevo siege in the 1990s, desperate civilians bartered bullets for food, medicine, and even favors. In World War II, resistance fighters exchanged precious rounds for information or safe passage. Even in more recent conflicts, such as in Venezuela and parts of Africa, ammunition has become a de facto currency when official money lost its value. The reason is simple. In unstable times, the ability to defend oneself or hunt for food becomes paramount, and ammunition is the key to both. The most valuable calibers are always the most common: 9mm, .22, .223, and shotgun shells. These rounds are in high demand because they fit the widest range of firearms, making them ideal for barter. Small denominations, single rounds or small handfuls, give you flexibility and reduce risk during trades. Think of it like carrying small bills instead of $100 notes. You can make precise trades and avoid overpaying. It's also wise to diversify your stockpile, keeping a mix of calibers to maximize your trading options. Never trade away your last box, and never reveal your full stash. As supplies dwindle, the value of each bullet skyrockets. Always keep your reserves hidden and secure. In many historical crises, those who survived longest were the ones who managed their resources with discipline and secrecy. Consider creating decoy stashes to mislead potential thieves or desperate neighbors. Safe storage is critical. Keep your ammunition cool, dry, and hidden. Humidity can ruin powder and render your currency useless. Use airtight containers or ammo cans with desiccant packs to protect your investment. Organize your ammo by caliber, and keep a list of what you have available for trade. Regularly inspect your stockpile for corrosion or damage, and rotate your supply to ensure freshness. In a long-term crisis, well-maintained ammunition can mean the difference between survival and vulnerability. When bartering, only trade what you can afford to lose. Never put all your eggs or bullets in one basket. Approach every exchange with caution, and always be aware of your surroundings. Think like a merchant, not a warrior. Arrange trades in neutral, safe locations, and consider bringing a trusted partner to watch your back. If possible, establish a reputation for fairness. Trust is rare and valuable in a crisis. In survival situations, ammunition can buy almost anything: food, water, medicine, even information. But use it wisely. Every round you trade is one less for your own defense. Remember, the more you trade, the more you reveal about your resources and capabilities. Always weigh the immediate benefit against the long-term risk. In the end, the right caliber at the right time can be worth more than a fistful of cash. In a world turned upside down, ammunition is the currency of survival, if you respect its power and use it with care. Study the lessons of history, prepare your stockpile wisely, and remember, in a crisis, every bullet counts. As we move to the next essential item, let's talk about something that quietly powers nearly every aspect of your emergency plan: batteries. When the lights go out, batteries become the silent pulse that keeps your world connected and illuminated. Radios, flashlights, lanterns, and even medical devices all rely on these small powerhouses to function when the grid fails. In a true emergency, batteries are more than just a convenience. They're a lifeline. Imagine a storm knocks out power for days. Your only link to the outside world might be a battery-powered radio delivering weather alerts and evacuation orders. Or in the dead of night, a simple flashlight can mean the difference between safety and injury as you navigate your home. To stay organized, let's break down the types you'll need. The most common household batteries are alkaline. Think AA, AAA, C, D, and 9V. These are affordable and have a decent shelf life, often 5 to 10 years if stored properly. But in a crisis, lithium batteries are the gold standard. They last longer, perform better in extreme temperatures, and have a shelf life of up to 20 years. For devices like headlamps, radios, and smoke detectors, lithium is often worth the extra cost. For example, a lithium AA battery can power an LED flashlight for up to twice as long as an alkaline, which is crucial during extended outages. Next, consider rechargeables: nickel metal hydride, NiMH, and lithium ion. Rechargeables save money and reduce waste, but only if you have a way to recharge them when the power is out. That's where solar chargers and hand crank generators come in. A small solar panel can keep your batteries topped up during extended outages, while a hand crank charger is a reliable backup when sunlight isn't available. For instance, a hand crank radio can provide both news and a way to recharge your phone in a pinch, and a solar charger can keep your walkie-talkies operational for days. Shelf life and storage are critical. Store batteries in a cool, dry place, ideally in their original packaging to prevent short circuits. Rotate your supply, use the oldest first, and replace as you go. Mark expiration dates on your storage containers so you're never caught with dead batteries when you need them most. For example, keeping a labeled box with AAA and ANDIA batteries, sorted by expiration date, ensures you always have fresh power ready. In real-world crises, batteries have proven more valuable than gold. During the siege of Sarajevo, batteries were traded for jewelry and food. Radios powered by batteries brought news, hope, and vital information. Flashlights and lanterns meant safety in the darkness, especially for families with children or elderly members. In recent hurricanes, people have used battery-powered fans to keep cool, and battery-powered lanterns to cook food indoors safely. Don't overlook specialty batteries for medical devices, insulin pumps, hearing aids, and portable oxygen concentrators. In a disaster, these batteries can be as precious as the medicine itself. Always keep a backup supply and know exactly which type your devices require. For example, a hearing aid user should have at least a month's worth of batteries on hand, and those relying on insulin pumps should store spares in a waterproof container. Rationing is key. Power up radios only for news updates and turn off lights when not needed. Efficient LED flashlights and headlamps stretch your supply further, providing more hours of light per battery. Use lanterns with adjustable brightness to conserve energy, and consider battery-powered motion sensors for hallways to avoid leaving lights on unnecessarily. Practice makes perfect. In a blackout, fumbling with batteries in the dark wastes precious time. Practice changing batteries in your essential gear with your eyes closed, so muscle memory takes over when it counts. Teach family members, especially children, how to safely swap batteries in flashlights and radios, and keep a small toolkit nearby for devices that require a screwdriver. And remember, in a prolonged crisis, batteries become barter items. Never flaunt your stash. Keep your supply discreet and secure. A handful of batteries can buy food, water, or even safe passage. In some communities, people have exchanged batteries for candles, bottled water, or even a few minutes of phone charging. To sum up, batteries are the pulse of survival, powering communication, light, and life-saving equipment. Preparation, knowledge, and a well-rotated supply can make all the difference when disaster strikes. From keeping your family informed with a battery-powered no-way radio, to lighting your way with an LED lantern, to sending a text with a battery-powered phone charger, these small cells of energy are the backbone of emergency readiness. With batteries in your kit, you're one step closer to being truly prepared for whatever comes next. As we move to the next essential item, let's focus on something often overlooked until it's too late: medications and first aid. In times of crisis, it's not always violence that poses the greatest threat. Disease, infection, and untreated injuries often claim more lives than conflict itself. When the world around you changes overnight, access to medical care can vanish just as quickly. Imagine being cut off from hospitals, clinics, or even basic pharmacies. Suddenly, your ability to care for yourself and your loved ones depends entirely on what you have at home. In survival scenarios, the smallest cut or untreated fever can spiral into a life-threatening emergency if you're unprepared. Picture walking into your local pharmacy only to find the shelves stripped bare, the doors locked, and no help in sight. In these moments, your personal supply of medicine and a well-stocked first aid kit become your most valuable assets, your true lifeline. The difference between life and death, comfort and suffering, can come down to what you've prepared in advance. In Venezuela's recent economic collapse, for example, families with even a small stockpile of antibiotics or painkillers were able to treat infections and injuries that otherwise would have been fatal. Those without faced dire consequences. History offers sobering lessons. Survivors of the Sarajevo siege recall that more people died from illness and infection than from bullets or bombs. In Hurricane Katrina's aftermath, many suffered not from injuries, but from lack of access to insulin, heart medications, or antibiotics. In Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, diabetics struggled to keep insulin cold without power, and many ran out of life-saving medications. Medical preparedness is not just wise, it's essential. A simple wound, left untreated, can become deadly. But with the right supplies and knowledge, you can turn the tide. So, how do you prepare? Start by stockpiling the prescription medications your family relies on. Work with your doctor to get extra refills if possible. Some insurance plans allow for 90-day supplies, and many doctors will write emergency prescriptions if you explain your preparedness plan. Next, gather over-the-counter essentials. Here's a basic list to get you started. Pain relievers: acetaminophen, ibuprofen, aspirin. These help manage fevers, headaches, and minor injuries. Allergy medications: antihistamines, epinephrine auto-injector if prescribed. Allergic reactions can be life-threatening, so always have backups. Stomach remedies: antacids, anti-diarrheal tablets, anti-nausea medicine. Gastrointestinal issues are common in disasters due to contaminated food or water. Cold and flu remedies: decongestants, cough suppressants, throat lozenges. Respiratory infections spread quickly in crowded shelters. Topical creams, antibiotic ointment, hydrocortisone, burn cream. Preventing infection and wounds is critical. Personal medications: inhalers, insulin, psychiatric meds, heart medications. These are often irreplaceable. Vitamins and electrolyte powders. Malnutrition and dehydration are real risks in prolonged crises. Spare eyeglasses or contact lenses in solution. Vision is often overlooked but essential. Any other daily essentials unique to your family, such as thyroid medication or seizure meds. Store your medications in a cool, dark, and dry place to preserve their potency. Use airtight containers for extra protection. Rotate your supply regularly, check expiration dates every few months, and use the oldest items first. Set reminders on your phone or calendar so nothing is forgotten. Organization now prevents panic later. In the 2011 Japanese tsunami, families who kept their medications organized and portable were able to evacuate quickly and maintain their health, while others lost access to vital treatments. A first aid kit should go far beyond just bandages. Build a comprehensive kit with these essentials: assorted bandages and gauze pads for cuts, scrapes, and larger wounds, medical tape and elastic wraps for sprains and securing dressings, wound irrigation solution or sterile saline to clean injuries and prevent infection, burn cream and cold packs for thermal injuries and swelling, disposable gloves and face masks to protect both patient and caregiver, tweezers, scissors, and safety pins for removing debris and cutting tape, antiseptic wipes and ointments to disinfect wounds, thermometer and instant cold packs for monitoring and treating fevers, splints and triangular bandages for immobilizing fractures, eye wash and eye pads for eye injuries, basic medical manual or first aid guide, knowledge is power, CPR face shield or mask for safe resuscitation, emergency blanket for shock or exposure, personal medications and copies of prescriptions in a waterproof bag. In desperate times, medicines become powerful barter items. But always prioritize your family's needs. Never trade away what you might need tomorrow for short-term gain. In the aftermath of the Greek financial crisis, antibiotics and painkillers were traded for food and fuel, but those who kept their essentials fared best in the long run. Consider keeping a small stash of extra over-the-counter meds for barter, but never risk your core supply. Knowledge is just as important as supplies. Take a first aid class, learn CPR, and teach your family basic wound care. In a disaster, professional help may be days or even weeks away. There are countless stories of ordinary people saving lives with basic first aid. A neighbor stopping severe bleeding with a tourniquet, a parent treating a child's burn, or a friend performing CPR until help arrived. These skills turn fear into action. Many Red Cross chapters offer free or low-cost courses, and online tutorials can supplement your learning. Practice regularly so your skills stay sharp. Don't forget special needs: insulin for diabetics, inhalers for asthma, psychiatric medications, and even spare eyeglasses or contact lenses. These items are often irreplaceable in a crisis. If anyone in your family has unique medical needs, make a checklist and ensure you have at least a 3-month supply. For medications that require refrigeration, like insulin, consider investing in portable coolers or battery-powered mini-fridges. In the 2021 Texas winter storm, families who had backup power sources were able to keep insulin safe when the grid failed. Comfort items matter too. Stock up on ibuprofen, electrolyte powders, anti-nausea tablets, and anything that helps your family feel better during stressful times. Even simple things like cough drops or soothing teas can make a big difference in morale. In long-term emergencies, maintaining comfort and routine can help reduce anxiety and keep everyone's spirits up. Keep your kit organized and portable. Use clear containers or labeled pouches for quick access. In an emergency, you may need to grab it and go at a moment's notice. Practice opening and using your kit so you're not fumbling when seconds count. During the California wildfires, families who had go bags with medical supplies were able to evacuate quickly and care for minor injuries on the move. Medicines and first aid aren't just about survival, they're about preserving dignity, comfort, and hope when everything else feels uncertain. In countless emergencies, families who were prepared were able to care for each other, reduce suffering, and even save lives. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle medical emergencies is invaluable. Prepare now. Stock up before the shelves are empty, because when crisis hits, it's already too late to start. Your silent lifesavers are waiting. Take action today, and give yourself the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Remember, in survival, preparation is the best medicine. When crisis hits, it's not weapons but essentials: water, fuel, barter goods, batteries, and medicine that keep you alive. These are the true lifelines that sustain you and your loved ones when the unexpected happens. Preparation is about foresight, not fear. Start by making a simple checklist of the basics: clean water, non-perishable food, reliable light sources, backup power, and necessary medications. Organize your supplies in a way that's easy to access and rotate them regularly to keep everything fresh. Don't wait for disaster. Start now while you can. Set aside a little each week, maybe a few extra cans of food, a spare flashlight, or a bottle of water. Over time, these small steps add up to real security. Focus on the basics and build your resilience. Remember, it's not about having the most gear, but about being ready for the most likely challenges. Real-life stories show the power of preparation. During recent storms, families who had stocked up on essentials were able to stay safe and comfortable, even when the power was out for days. In one neighborhood, people who had extra water and food were able to help their neighbors, turning a crisis into a moment of community strength. So take action today. Review your needs, gather your essentials, and encourage those around you to do the same. Preparedness isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving, no matter what comes your way. The real key to survival is in your hands. Start small, stay consistent, and inspire others to join you. Every step you take now builds a safer, stronger future for yourself and your community. Don't wait. Prepare today, and be the reason you're